Well, happy Monday. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. If you're watching live, you're seeing some of the images from Independence Day. I was able to take in some fireworks from the Lake Lou Yeager in Litchfield. Beautiful out. Oh my gosh, it couldn't have been a more perfect day. All the people blasting off fireworks all across the lake. And then the city's fireworks show. While some people said it was okay, I thought it was pretty well done. But sharing some of the video I captured, just hanging out on a boat, drinking some beers, enjoying the spectacular fireworks. Happy Independence Day, but we got to get back to normal here, I guess. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. We've got tons to tackle, including the violence in Chicago over the weekend. That's after there was a mass shooting late Wednesday heading into the Independence Day holiday weekend. And a lot of people concerned about safety in Chicago. So we'll have to talk about that. We'll also have to review some police body camera footage that was released by Illinois State Police from a police-involved shooting that happened in Macon back in May. Suspect stole a squad car, had a shotgun in it, and he pointed the shotgun at the officers, who then opened fire and injured the suspect. He's now in Macon County Jail, facing charges, with one officer having been injured but released from the hospital. So we'll review some of that as well. Plus, you've got the big, beautiful bill that passed and was signed by President Donald Trump. What's that going to ultimately mean for a place like Illinois with all the different elements that are in that bill? We'll discuss that as well briefly here this Monday morning with Illinois in Focus Daily. But don't forget, go to the website, thecentersquare.com, where you can sign up for the newsletter. It's real simple. All you got to do is just go to thecentersquare.com, click on newsletter up at the right-hand corner, and you'll get the latest headlines in your inbox, not just from Illinois, but also what's going on across the country. So be sure to get that. Plus, don't forget, you can wake up here with us each and every weekday morning with Illinois in Focus Daily to break down things happening in the land of Lincoln. Watch the show live and join the live chat as well. But you can also get the podcasts where you get podcasts. So just search Illinois in Focus and you'll find it. All right, it's Illinois in Focus. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning as we bring you the latest that you need to know to get your day started in the land of Lincoln.
On this vote, the yeas are 218, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted.
That's Speaker Mike Johnson on the U.S. House floor Thursday as the U.S. House narrowly passed President Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill, with Speaker Johnson taking to the floor, talking about the importance of the bill. What all does this bill do, and what are the impacts going to be on a state like Illinois? So 218 to 214, that was the final vote outcome before the bill got to President Donald Trump's desk, where he signed it on Independence Day. Marks another big effort by House Speaker Mike Johnson. It's a $3.3 trillion bill. All right, $3.3 trillion. Considered a mega bill. And it's got all kinds of things in it, including worries that it's going to increase the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, that it's going to impact healthcare subsidies for people 10 years down the road. But what it also does is it extends the 2017 tax cuts that President Trump got done in his first term. So those tax cuts continue, but you also have a temporary no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. That is capped, though. So I know a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go get some of that overtime. It's capped. You can't just go have open-ended overtime and not be taxed on that. Same thing with tips. There are some provisions in there that make it temporary, and I think it's a cap of like $25,000. You can only claim no tips for no taxes on tips. But those are two elements new to this tax and spend bill, but there's also tons of other things in it that has people worried and critical, pointing to different types of organizations like the Congressional Budget Office, warning that 12 plus million people could lose their health care over 10 years or so. Democrats saying that it's going to lead to people dying, and even Governor J.B. Pritzker, as we shared last week, said that he doesn't anticipate having to come back for special session to deal with these things, but he said, quote, people are going to die. So a lot of different elements here, but some things that may not get as much attention elsewhere, but here in Illinois, we're going to be watching to see what happens with the provision of allowing for private investments into school choice scholarship organizations that will allow for parents that meet a certain set of characteristics. They can apply and get grants to send their children to a school of their choice. Illinois had something like this called the Illinois Invest in Kids program. It was part of a 2017 effort to bring about a change to the K through 12 school funding formula in Illinois during the administration of former Republican Governor Bruce Rauner. And part of increasing annually the K through 12 budget by $350 million, they agreed to go ahead and have this school choice scholarship program where private individuals can donate their private dollars and get a tax credit based off those dollars to go into a school choice granting organization. While that program, opposed by teachers unions, was ultimately allowed to sunset at the end of 2023. So we went all throughout 2024, and now we're halfway through 2025, and that program's not been in effect, impacting a lot of families. But now with the big, beautiful bill signed into law, that's going to create a 100%, much more generous than the Illinois program that expired, but the 100% tax credit on donations for school choice granting organizations. That's going to impact Illinois school choice, as it will across the country. So the school choice advocates heralding that. But there's just tons of other things, right? It implements some temporary tax provisions. As we mentioned, you've got the no tax on tips up to $25,000. You've got a $6,000 deduction for eligible seniors, and partially offsetting the bill's costs, the president's goal to cut waste and fraud. It also requires able-bodied adults with dependents to fulfill work-related requirements to receive welfare benefits, and caps the Medicaid provider tax at 3.5% down to the current from the current 6% rate by 2030. It also cracks down on states with high SNAP payment errors and looks to try to curb those costs. It also looks to tackle solar and wind subsidies from the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act. Phases those out, saving about $517 billion over 10 years. That's something else that could impact Illinois. Governor J.B. Pritzker last week, in anticipation of this bill ultimately coming to fruition, said that it's going to increase electric costs, utility costs for Illinoisans. And that's not recognizing the increased costs that Illinoisans have already seen from the electric grid, having an over-reliance on wind and solar, and an effort over the next, 5 to 10 years to close down coal-fired power plants in the state of Illinois. But the one big beautiful bill goes about limiting those tax subsidies for wind and solar, something that's expected to impact the state of Illinois. Let's go ahead and hear just a little bit of the back and forth. Here is Hakeem Jeffries. He spoke for like 8+ hours on the House floor on Thursday morning before they ultimately came about and passed the one big beautiful bill. Here's Hakeem Jeffries talking about why he thinks his bill.
But Mr. Speaker, these are the words. Senator Murkowski says this was one of the hardest votes I have taken during my time in the Senate. And then she keeps it real. As far as I can tell, she says, but let's not kid ourselves. This has been an awful process. Mr. Speaker, those are the words of a Republican senator, not us. This has been an awful process, a frantic rush to meet an artificial deadline that has tested every limit of this institution. While we have worked to improve the present bill for Alaska, it is not good enough for the rest of our nation. And we all know it.
So Jeffries obviously taking a lot of time. It was kind of repetitive. They had a moment there where legislators from across the country and the Democratic caucus were getting up to suggest an amendment to the bill, and they had a bunch of different amendments that they offered that didn't get passed, but they had the Democrats kind of line up and just ask this over and over and over again, while Republicans kind of kept it short. And again, you've got U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson before the vote talking about the importance of the bill, and one thing he did say was, one thing you know about lying is it takes a long time to sell a lie. And he was kind of referencing the 8+ hours of Hakeem Jeffries doing his thing. But here's Mike Johnson just before the vote on the one big beautiful bill.
Buy a home will be able to, thanks to historic savings that will put our country on a stronger financial footing. Pregnant women, children, seniors, single mothers, the disabled, and the low-income Americans among us receiving Medicaid and SNAP will have the peace of mind of knowing that we've made these safety nets stronger with our reforms. See, when Republicans are in charge, we bring common sense. We're going to make sure that Americans who do need and deserve those critical programs won't have to compete against people who can work but choose not to do so. That's not right.
Johnson, again, highlighting some of the waste, fraud, and abuse efforts that Republicans say they have in place here for the one big beautiful bill. It's also looking to essentially curb some of the spending on non-citizens, and that's something else that's going to impact Illinois when it comes to health care subsidies. Governor J.B. Pritzker last week saying that that just means the state's going to have to possibly shift some of its state tax dollars around to help make up and fill some of the gaps. But a lot of this obviously is stuff that's not going to fully be implemented until after the 2026 midterm elections. Is that to get through an election cycle so Republicans may save some face, or how exactly is that, the political posture there of holding something for several months, 18 months or so, before it actually goes into effect after another election cycle. So there's going to be a lot to see what happens with the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Economists are kind of split. You have some saying, and the consensus is that this is going to increase the deficit. You've got others saying, no, this is going to add rocket fuel to the economy and allow for more growth. And with growth, you're going to get more tax revenue and there won't be a deficit. Which way is it going to go? Clearly, we'll have to keep watching. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Wake up with us each and every weekday morning here as we bring you the latest you need to know in the land of Lincoln. Was a violent weekend in Chicago that started late Wednesday with a mass shooting, and Chicago officials say they are working and continue to work, and their work's not done on curbing violence. Welcome back, Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning as we break down things you need to know in the land of Lincoln. Now, obviously, I'm down here in Springfield. And, we have the occasional shooting incident. And is it gang-related? Is it somebody just errantly firing off a firearm? But when you compare, Chicago to the rest of the state, it's night and day. But also when you compare Chicago to the rest of the country, some statistics show that Chicago is grappling with continued violence. Even though Chicago police statistics seem to indicate that citywide crime is going down. So we'll actually just go ahead and pull up the police department statistics to take a look at where we're at in the current situation. So Chicago crime statistics, pull that up. Check this out. Let's do citywide crime statistics. And you will see that a lot of green. A lot of green means good. So these numbers indicating that murder is down the last month by 50%. It's down 46% over 4 years. And then when you get to some of the other more violent crimes, similar violent crimes, sexual assault, minus 1% over 4 years. But things like burglary, theft, misdemeanor theft, vehicle theft, all up over the past 4 years. Double digits, and as much as 75% of motor vehicle theft. 4-year change total of all crimes, you're talking 43% of a change. Now, the shooting that happened in Chicago Wednesday night was just before the Independence Day holiday weekend. We had great weather down here in central Illinois. It was a little warm, but perfect for cookouts, right? So what's going on, and as far as the latest? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the headlines from CWB Chicago, where you've got all of the violence there is. 18-person mass shooting at a lounge, worst ever. 18 injured, 4 killed. They're still investigating that. We'll hear a little bit of what Chicago police had to say. But looking at some of these other headlines, you've got violent robbery crew strikes 5 in 2 days from the West Loop to the United Center. Mom killed 4-year-old son, stabbed siblings, then set their house on fire, officials said. Migrant gets plea deal in Music Fest robbery. These are just some of the headlines from CWB Chicago. Gunman kills driver on North Side, crashes getaway car in the Loop. Pistol whippings, phone passcodes, and a stolen Infiniti. You've got the crime wave that they're highlighting there. Family tracked down down and beat man who robbed 14-year-old boy. Mother charged with murder, arson after 3 stabbings. Got that story. Cop nabs violent crew suspected of at least 8 daytime robberies. Video shows gang signs thrown moments before drive-by gunman killed 4, injuring 14. Taxi driver run over in downtown carjacking. Mom thought kid, more on that pretty tragic story. Gunman shoots through CTA bus door, striking 2 passengers. So again, those are just some of the crime headlines from CWB Chicago, monitoring what's going on in the Windy City. Let's hear some of what Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and Police Superintendent Larry Snelling had to say Thursday, heading into the Independence Day holiday, especially hours after this mass shooting that happened, and how they're going to try to get a hold of it. Here is Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Well, the first thing, let me just say, violent individuals showed up to a scene and opened fire indiscriminately on people. That in and of itself is terror and an act of hate. That's what we're focused in on right now. It's that these individuals who are responsible have to be held accountable, and to the people of Chicago, anyone that knows anything about what was involved last night, they should come forward.
Show how they're going to come forward and actually share details and help in the investigation. Clearly, that is an ongoing issue with law enforcement in a city like Chicago. You've got the mayor talking more about their efforts to try to curb violence.
To the superintendent's point, it's not just policing. It's going to take all of us to ensure that we continue to build on creating safe spaces in communities throughout the city of Chicago. Policing alone is not going to get us there. So I appreciate the question, especially because we are expanding and extending the hours of CVI so that these community violence interrupters can be in places strategically and longer to provide more support within these communities. But Deputy Mayor Gatewood, you want to talk a little bit more about?
So then he gets some of his officials up to talk about the programming that they have to pay community violence interrupters, and how well those CVIs are doing. I guess that's something we'll have to see in the data, and probably need to get a better idea of where these community violence interrupters are at any given time, especially when it comes to these types of violent incidents, these mass shootings, possibly gang-related. Larry Snelling, the police superintendent up in Chicago, was asked about that, said that it's an ongoing investigation, but here's more from the police superintendent.
We respect the First Amendment, but at the same time, we as a police department need to make sure that if we have information that there's the possibility of something that could lead to violence, we'll be there. So those questions are a little hard to answer, but when we know that there's a possibility that something some violence could occur as a result of something like this, we're there. And it's not just for those events. It could be for any particular event where we have prior intel.
So prior intel is going to help them get down to what might be going on in any particular neighborhood. And in particular, the violence that seems to be erupting in one area, one jurisdiction of Chicago, District 18. And when we pull up the statistics for District 18, this is pretty alarming, and you see that the murder rate over a 1 year change, 300%. You've got 2 year change, 100%, up 33% in 4 years. And the variety of all crimes are up in the 18th district there in Chicago for every crime: motor vehicle theft, misdemeanor theft, felony theft, and so on. How that is something they can focus in on particular neighborhoods. You heard the mayor say that increased policing is not necessarily the answer here, but would those communities think differently? It's an interesting question, one that we'll have to continue to monitor here. But final few words here from Police Superintendent Larry Snelling on where they're at in this situation.
This is the kind of chaos that we deal with on a daily basis, and the work that police officers do.
I'm wondering if you have any information on how many gunmen possibly in the River North shooting last night, what type of weapon or weapons were used, and whether there's any arrests at this point?
Well, right now we do know that there's a possibility that there was a rifle used in this. There were 2 different calibers of shell casings recovered. To the number of gunmen, we're not sure. I'm not sure right now. I don't want to get ahead of that investigation because it's still being investigated. They're still pulling down camera footage and going through these things. So until we have more concrete facts, I can't give you an exact number, but there were multiple shell casings found at the scene. This is the kind of chaos that we deal with on a daily basis, and the work that police officers do.
How they're going to continue throughout the summer, policing and reacting to violent outcomes and investigating. We're going to see some arrests. And some people may say that the Protect Illinois Communities Act isn't doing anything to protect Illinois communities in a place like Chicago where such violence is continuing. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Wake up with us each and every weekday morning as we bring you the latest here in the land of Lincoln. If you're watching live, you're seeing some tape that Illinois State Police provided of a suspect pointing a shotgun at law enforcement after crashing a stolen squad car into the back of another vehicle. The suspect was shot and injured, facing charges. It was a non-fatal police-involved shooting. And Illinois State Police releasing that body camera footage that was from May over in Macon. Welcome in to Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Just a quick segment here about this police body cam footage. Late on the 3rd, the Illinois State Police released the body cam footage, and I'll just read to you from their news release here. Again, don't forget, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning at 8 o'clock at the newsletter at thecentersquare.com and more. All right, back to the press release here. In accordance with Illinois State Police's commitments to integrity and public transparency, ISP is releasing video from officer-involved shooting that occurred May 3rd, 2025 in Macon, Illinois. The video is being released after consultation with authorization by the Macon County State's Attorney and can be found by clicking there. On May 3rd, Macon County Sheriff's Office requested ISP Division of Criminal Investigation Zone 5 investigate an officer-involved shooting that occurred near Wall Street and US 51 in Macon, Illinois. Around noon, May 3rd, 2025, Macon County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to a 911 call at PV Quick Stop in Macon for a man, 38-year-old Oscar McCurry of Decatur Park Police Department, Macon, waving a machete at gas station patrons. Shortly after deputies and an officer from the Decatur Park Police Department arrived, McCurry entered a squad car and drove around until he crashed into another squad car. McCurry got out of the squad car with a shotgun, at which point the officers fired at McCurry, who was taken to the hospital and injured. One officer was injured in the incident, but was able to be released from the hospital the same day. McCurry is currently in Macon County Jail, and charges are pending. So Macon County State's Attorney's Office announced no charges against the officers involved in the incident. But again, McCurry, for the incident, he's facing charges with not much other information available at this time. But, you know, pictures have 1,000 words. Video tells quite a story as well. So let's just review some of the tape. They released multiple body camera angles and dash cam of the stolen squad car. You can go through and click on the Illinois State Police's newsletter there and find the raw footage yourself. I just grabbed some quick moments here just to kind of highlight what's going on. So this is, let me turn that down. So you've got the squad car there in the middle being taken off and being stolen. It's right there. You see him? This squad car. Police are kind of hanging out. Don't know how the suspect got to that squad car, but he drives off. Then later, you get the injured officer who was driving, getting to the scene, and then word that the squad car was stolen, and another officer being chased, not chasing the suspect, the other officer being chased by the squad that was stolen. Here's what the stolen squad car footage looks like as it hits the other officer's vehicle. No audio there, but slam right into the back of that other police vehicle. Hits another truck on the side of the road and then starts to veer off to another area. Here's what it looked like from that officer's body camera footage as he was driving, trying to avoid getting into an accident with the suspects who had a stolen squad car with a shotgun in it. Ah! Damn! He's on his 2 feet. Got rear-ended pretty good. Trying to get around to the back of the squad car. By the way, trucks are so durable. It's incredible. However, the squad car that the guy stole did not survive. All right, you can see it pushed it in, may have disabled the vehicle a bit. The guy gets a little bit down the road, but then you get this moment caught on that stolen squad car's dash cam, showing the suspect with a shotgun holding it over the hood, pointing it at law enforcement. Here's that pretty frightening moment. No audio there. I'd have to overlay the audio from the other body camera footage. But the suspect was saying over and over again, you know, shoot me, kill me. Pretty frightening for law enforcement officers, I imagine, and everybody in that area too. As you're watching this unfold in a rural Macon area with law enforcement having their guns drawn, and then law enforcement ultimately get out. They have their guns drawn. The suspect had the shotgun. Shots are fired, but you can see there the shotgun is laying on the ground, so the suspect was disarmed, and ultimately a non-fatal shooting where the suspect was apprehended and faces charges. One officer injured, and that officer being released from the hospital the same day. These body camera incidents, really fascinating, quite frankly, to see how police have to interact with situations where they may be coming onto the scene and then you never know what's going to happen. All right. Somebody gets into a squad car and steals it and it's got a shotgun in it and that guy's pointing a shotgun at police. It's all there. The red, blue, and green of the digital space. So I wanted to bring that to you as well here with Illinois in Focus. All right, it is Monday after a holiday. We've got a lot of things to unpack in the week ahead as we continue on with Illinois in Focus each and every weekday morning here. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us. Get the podcast where you get podcasts, and don't forget, go to thecentersquare.com where you can sign up for the newsletter and get the latest headlines in your inbox. Thecentersquare.com. That's all I got for you on this Monday after Independence Day. Again, I hope you guys had a wonderful Independence Day. Really had a blast watching fireworks. Some people don't like them. I don't know. I was privileged enough to know somebody had a boat. We went and watched these fireworks on good old Lake Lou Yeager. And plenty of people were blasting off fireworks on the way out of... Even though fireworks are illegal in Illinois, all up and down Lake Lou Yeager after the official fireworks show, there were plenty of amateur fireworks shows. quite a sight to behold. Happy Independence Day. All right, have yourself a wonderful rest of the Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow for more Illinois in Focus. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us here on YouTube for Illinois in Focus with the Center Square.